For over 27 years here in Tuscaloosa, Catfish Heaven has been pleasing our taste buds with their delicious catfish, pan trout, hot wings, coleslaw, hush puppies, and don't forget about those made-to-order French fries. Whether it's your snack time, lunchtime, or dinner time, give the guys a call over at Catfish Heaven at 205-752-7222, or you can make your order online at catfishheaventuscaloosa.com. So head on over to Catfish Heaven at 2502 21st Street. See you there.
Hello?
Hey, Rick, I had to call you to tell you that the food that you brought to the party last night was wonderful. It made me think about my grandmother's cooking. Where did you get that food, brother?
I went down to Thomas Rib Shack to pick up the ribs, but when I got
time. The
Fly, fly, fly. Gucci, huh? I drink till I'm drunk.
Fellas, head on down to New Generation Barber Shop, right off of 2600 McFarland Boulevard East, Suite C. Go ahead and get you a fly cut from my boy Fred Brown. You can hit him up at 205-292-4995. Also Sam Brown at 205-722-8506. And how can I forget about my boy Amp the Barber? Hit him up at 205-561-7473. Check him out, y'all.
Take a pick, I might as well. Hell, drop the top and take a selfie. My country.
You shopping at a goddamn number 2 pencil.
Head on down to Archibald and Woodrow, some of the best barbecue in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, y'all. Right off of 4125 Greensboro Avenue, Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35405. You can hit them up at 205-331-4858. Also, you can find them at their other location, 1211 Martin Luther King Boulevard, Northport, Alabama 35476. 205-345-6861.
Tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama.
Can you hear anything? Can you hear anything? Okay, I think I got it. Let me see. Can you hear anything? Yeah, that was me who said that. Can you hear anything? Are they able to hear? Yeah, that was me who said that. Okay. Can you hear anything? Are they able to hear? Yeah, that was me who said that. Or it's a delay. Or it's a delay. Yeah, yeah, it's a delay coming off the tablet. So I'm hearing everything off the tablet. I'm hearing us talk right now on the or it's a delay. Yeah, yeah, it's a delay coming off the tablet. So I'm hearing everything off the tablet. I'm hearing us talk right now on the or it's a delay. We back on, y'all. We back on. We back. Sorry about that. Sorry about the technical difficulties with that on the program. Let's go. Okay. Yep. COVID update, as always. Veronica Taylor provide us with the
national, and state. In your Son Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen. All right. Hopefully we still on and we're getting Mikey got us a little turned up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you down now.
Okay. Once again, we're broadcasting live from McKinstry Banquet Hall and on Sound Booth Radio. Mike, okay, you good?
Yep.
Okay. Once again, tell them how can they chime in on Sound Booth Radio and Sound Booth TV, since they didn't hear
Sure
the
thing,
first time.
Get in with us on Sound Booth Radio. Just go to your iOS or your Google Play Store. Download the Live 365 app. Once you've downloaded that Live 365 app, go to the search bar and type in Sound Booth Radio 106.1. That'll get you on with us on the radio side of Sound Booth Radio. To check us out on the TV side, go to Facebook or YouTube, type in Sound Booth Radio or Sound Booth TV, and that'll get you on with us on Sound Booth TV.
Great. Been a long.
Daryl, you were speaking of hopefully by New Year's everything will be lower. Just looking at the news the last couple of days, there is a whole nother variant that that has taken over South Africa right now.
Yeah.
Don't think that we have any confirmed cases of it here, but of course it's taken over even the Delta variant that we had such a big problem with as of in July until now. So we got to keep a watchful eye out about this new variant that's coming out. They still recommending that everybody go and get their shots. If you have not gotten your shots, want to go out there and get those. And the boosters are okay for everyone to get now. So it's not just for people 65 or older. Everybody can go and get the booster shots now, and that's all 3 booster shots.
Well, I hadn't even went and got my booster yet, Mike, but I am anticipating on getting it before the Christmas holiday.
I am as well.
But hey, I'm still glad to see the numbers are going down. With the anticipation of football season and everything opening back up wide open like it was, I think we've been blessed that the numbers are low as they are. I mean, 17 right now in the city of Tuscaloosa. Unless the media is playing tricks on us. But as of right now, 17. Now, don't get me wrong, because I'm still hearing people being diagnosed with COVID. I'm still hearing people of passing of COVID. So we still have to take precautions. It's not gone anywhere. And people still need to take precautions against this COVID and the new COVID or the new variant that they're talking about from South Africa.
Derek, I think that a lot of people, and this is what I think messed with us at the beginning of the year also, is the fact that the hospitalizations have gone down, so they kind of felt that we were in the clear. I think people are still getting COVID, but because of the fact that there's a lot of people that have been vaccinated, that it's not hitting them as hard as it did initially. And so therefore, they have some sort of antibodies in their system that's helping to fight it off. So it's not as bad as it was. But it just kind of says, if you look at the numbers and the facts, that if you have the vaccine, it's been helping out a lot more people.
Yeah.
Than if you did not have it.
Well, once again, we want to send our condolences to all the families, the Jasmine Turner Clark family, Kim and Jimbo Anderson. Want to send and Joey Clark. We want to send our condolences out to them on the passing of their daughter. And as you can see, those that watched today, There were, I think, Mike, I seen up to about 700 people watching the funeral from my Facebook page, and based on statistics, 7.5 thousand people have viewed the funeral. 7.5 thousand. That's a lot of people, and it was shared over 500 times too. So our condolences out to all the families in the passing of their daughter. But tonight, we want to go ahead and talk about this past weekend, Alabama versus Auburn, and this upcoming weekend of Georgia versus Alabama. I called it about 3 weeks ago, so I already told y'all Alabama was probably going to win this game against Georgia, and I already said that they was going to win the game against Auburn. I didn't know it was going to be that close, but it did happen, and just want to say I see a different team. Even though Bama is wounded, and I'm gonna use that word highly, wounded at the running back position.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're gonna see a lot of new people evolve and step up to the plate and make some plays. I put it this way: in the Auburn game, I don't think nobody expected Brooks to be the person that catch the touchdown that tied the game.
Absolutely not. And to be honest with you, if you saw that game, you saw that Nick Saban, when Williams went out, he walked to the offense and said, somebody got to step up now.
Yeah.
Because he knew that Mitchell was not going to be able to do it. That immediately put their best DB up on Mitchell, and that pretty much was going to seal that side of it down.
Right.
Somebody else had to step up. And now I was very critical of that particular game. I was looking at the game. I kept saying once again, I talked to a lot of folks, and we spoke about the actual running game. They couldn't block from the run. Well, what I say to never stop trying to run. Alabama stopped Auburn run almost every single time they tried to run.
Mm-hmm.
But they continued to try to run, which didn't allow them to stay in a coverage type of position. So if we had continued to try to run, at least it would have ate up clock. It would have moved the ball. I think. We got away from it in that first half. Alabama, I think, ran the ball a total of 8 times, and 3 of those times was just a cleanup duty to get out of the half. So I don't know what the plan is going to be against Georgia. Brian Robinson is they said a lower body strain. So I don't know if he's even going to be able to play, and if he is able to play, what how good he's going to actually be. I'm excited about possibilities of Georgia. I truthfully feel I spoke to a couple of folks. They feel that Georgia is not used to having a front four that Alabama has. We're suspect on the back four, so our DBs and safeties are suspect, but they just don't think that Alabama, that Georgia is going to put up the numbers that they've been putting up against
Other teams.
Because other teams don't really have the defense that, although Alabama is not that dominating defense that we're used to, they don't have the defense that Alabama has.
They still don't think they're built tied like they normally are. But as I posted, McKinstry to the rescue. You know, let's look at what happened. You know, McKinstry to the rescue, and by him breaking up that pass, that made it Alabama win. That put them in the winning position.
Absolutely. But I just like to know, because I would love to know what everybody else think about that overtime situation. I mean, the overtime rules that they have
Oh
in
man,
college
I,
football.
I, I didn't know personally. That was me wondering. That was my first time actually seeing a college football playoff. I mean, overtime this year. I've heard somebody had like 7 overtimes early in the year,
Yeah.
and I was wondering how did it get to 7. But now I see. So I was thinking the 2-point conversion was you had to go for 2-point conversion if you consistently score touchdowns.
Yes. That's how it was prior to this year.
Okay.
And I would rather it be like that. After the first 3 times you kick a field goal, and then after that you have to go for a 2-point conversion. Then how they did it. And honestly, I don't think I think that after that it should still be a quarter length. So it should be Southern Death, but if they score, then they keep on going until the end of the quarter. That way, um, you know what I'm saying, if you have a tie, you have a tie. But you know what I'm saying, that I don't too much care for that 2-point conversion.
Well, the 2-point conversion, as I said, I was thinking you had to go for the 2-point conversion after you scored. I didn't know it was, you had to, they just set you up on the 3-yard line and okay, you do a 2-point conversion play. If you get it, you get you good. If you don't, you turn the ball over. So it's like a one play determination.
Overtime. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's something that I don't too much care about. I think that's to me not any good to me.
So that could have went as far as 10 times. That could have happened 10 times or more.
Absolutely.
Because
If,
that
like you
was
said, if it was not for the breaking up of that pass, they'd probably still be playing.
yeah. We got Kai Porter on the phone with us. Kai, if you want to join in tonight about the Alabama Auburn and the upcoming Alabama Georgia game, go ahead and give us your views on that.
That was a defensive game from both teams.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't like games like that. They think they did nothing. Yeah, they did. The defense on both ends stepped up.
Yep.
Regardless of what the offenses were doing on either team, them defenses held the ground. Just like the Super Bowl when the Rams played it wasn't the Bucks, it was New England or Tom last year. And that was a defensive game. Everybody talking about how low scoring it was. That was a boring game. No, that was a defensive Super Bowl game. And it was about, just like it was with Auburn, Alabama, whose defense gonna break first?
Yeah.
And get the ball.
I agree with you. I agree with you because now what people seem to have forgotten, because for the last almost 8 years we've been having what they would consider a higher power offense at Alabama. But Alabama is really and truly known for their defense, and
yes, it is.
We usually have games where they usually don't score no more than about 21 points per game. So we done got so used, and I think that's what makes Nick so upset with the fan base here in Alabama. Is he literally said that y'all expect Alabama to win a national championship every year, and truthfully, most people looked at him like, well, yeah.
Yeah,
but it's not reasonable. Look, this man has come to Alabama and won 6 national championships, and that's more than any other person has ever done. Period.
Yeah.
Outside of Bear, no other coach.
Absolutely.
Can you find
the only other person to win a national championship in my lifetime, I think, is James Stark.
Yeah. So and see, he brought us back from a 17-year drought Gene Stallings brought us back from a 13-year drought. And he kept us, Gene Stallings kept us in the SEC title game every year after that until he left.
And can I say that Alabama has been a one-loss, maybe two-loss team, except the first year that Nick Saban's been here. Yep. Every year after that, but we've been to a bowl every year that Nick Saban's been to.
We've been to a national championship, I think, 11 years, and we won 6 out of 11. So that's
the only national championship game that we went to that we didn't win was that Clemson.
When you look at that on a rating scale, we over 500 in championship wins. What other school can make that statement? And in the upcoming game, I get a lot of chatter from Georgia fans talking about y'all had to go to overtime, just like Auburn fans. So you had to take us to overtime to do it, but you still lost. Y'all ain't lost. Y'all ain't lost. Y'all ain't won nothing. The Georgia fans are talking about y'all ain't won nothing in 40 years.
Can I put that in perspective? Listen, every team that Alabama has played this year, they get up to play Alabama.
Exactly.
I can't say the same for Alabama because Alabama is known at times to play to the level of their competition. But every team gets up to play Alabama. If they don't think about no other team on their schedule, they think about
they got Alabama mark. They got Alabama mark.
And after that, when they're playing Alabama, if they tend to score or they hold them scoreless for a quarter or anything like that, that's the win for that team.
Yeah, that's the
win for that team. They don't do that with anybody else. Everybody else, and on top of all of that, when Alabama is sitting there and hurt and still winning games.
Exactly.
But other teams have that same excuse. Well, our best players got hurt. Well, every year Alabama wind up losing somebody that is one of their best players.
Or on the
defense or offense.
They're gonna lose a coach or coaching staff or players. They gonna lose both players on both sides of the field, like I said. And we still winning. So, and we ain't complaining. You know, they don't want to complain. Because, like you said, they get up and play us. We look forward to hitting that SEC title and getting in that playoffs, having another shot at winning another title.
And let's keep this thing in perspective also. Yeah. Every year that Auburn plays Alabama, if they don't play good, no other time of the year, Auburn plays. That's when their hearts out when they play Alabama. It is a rivalry game. That is the game that, and most of the time, Auburn is doing their best to play spoiler to Alabama.
Right.
If they don't do anything else, they want to play spoiler. If Auburn had won against Alabama, they would not be talking about that coach they got down there being 1-2 right now. But he had won. Yeah. If he had won against Alabama, they would have said, okay, we'll give you another year. Yep.
That's how they earn their burn. They coaches there earn keep their job, get bonuses. They can play anybody else.
Extensions. If you beat Alabama,
they can play against anybody else and won't get jacked. But when they play Alabama, that's when they get their bonuses, extensions. The coaching staff get money. Everybody get paid.
Yeah.
They don't look forward to SEC title. They definitely don't look forward to a playoff berth.
I think that they look forward to it, but Alpha they wind up losing in the middle of the season trying to play catch up, and then by the time they get to the end of the season, they had 2 or 3 losses. It's the same situation here.
You hear Auburn fans speak, no matter who they are, no matter what age, no matter what it is. What do they talk about? They talk about the Iron Bowl. They don't talk about nothing else. They don't talk about no national title. They don't talk about no SEC title game. They only talk about the Iron Bowl, and that's it. And who won it?
I mean, they ain't got to win national championship.
They got 2. They got 2.
Two.
They got 2 in 52 years. They got 1 in 62 and 1 in 2010. That's 52 years in between them 2 championships. And that's what I always remind them of when they go talking. They know, look, you 2 and 52. Y'all not used to championships. You used to Iron Bowl. That's what you get up for. That's what you get all your bragging up going on. Because you know, after the Iron Bowl, y'all ain't going nowhere else. You get a bowl game, and that's it.
Man,
You're gonna be watching us play the SEC title game, and most likely possibly playing for the playoffs, and then on to the championship.
I know some Auburn people finna call in to this show.
Oh, I know that, but they ain't got nothing to talk about.
And hearing you,
they know it's true.
Hearing you talk like that.
2 and 52. Then on top of that, Darryl, check this out.
Mm-hmm.
The United States elected 14 two-term presidents within that time frame. It would have been 15 had they lost in 2010.
Man,
and that 15 would have been Obama.
They ain't gonna let y'all talk about them like that now. Oh, they must be watching something else, because I can't believe Auburn fans gonna let you talk about.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm telling straight facts. They can go up and look up the record themselves. 1962, that was the first one. 2010 was the second one. Between them 2 championships, 52 years went by. I wasn't even born. Me and Mike wasn't even here yet.
Not me. Me either. It's been a long day for me, guys. I'm gonna see if anybody gonna call in. If not, we might have an early show tonight. Kicking in on. Once again,
and nonetheless, for Georgia fans, they weren't relevant. What made them relevant was the coach. The coach prior to and the coach before Kirby Smart. They weren't relevant.
Mark Richt.
They just now became relevant when Kirby Smart came down.
Well,
Mark Riggs had them pretty good, and then the year that they thought that they were going to go all the way, which was what they considered the blackout game.
Exactly.
And that actually almost sealed the fate for him. He wound up getting fired off a 2-loss season also. Yeah. I remember Nick Saban talking about it. He was like, how do you fire somebody for losing 2 games?
We got Veronica on the table.
Actually, a really good season.
Hold on, I got some Auburn people calling in. Hold on. Okay, go ahead, caller.
I was trying to see how much would it be to rent out the McKinstry Hall.
Oh, we live tonight, so we'll call you back tomorrow.
Or no, not now. I'm talking about like December 23rd type time.
We'll call you back tomorrow.
All right.
Okay. Go ahead, Veronica. How you doing?
Hey, Darryl, Mike, and Kai. I just got one question for y'all. Okay. What kind of rationale is this?
What do you mean?
Y'all trash. Y'all ain't trash. Y'all been overrated. We knew y'all was trash. It took y'all 4 overtime to be the 6-5 team. This they team now. They wearing their shirt, Harlem War Chicken. But we trash because it took us 4 overtimes to beat them. So that's okay. I take that we trash. So what does that make them? That's the logic. That's the logic of an Auburn fan.
Yeah. Let me ask you this right here. I mean, Auburn team was not considered bad if you ask me. They just
Right.
here's what they lacked the whole season was a decent quarterback.
Well, let's put it like this, Daryl, and I'm gonna be fair about it. So that's it. Didn't do bad. What Auburn's problem was, they ran out of gas most of the time in the second half of each game because they gave away huge leads all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the Alabama game, although the lead was basically 10, they gave it away. They gave it away with 1:40 left. Yes. Alabama went all the way down the field, 97 yards.
With no timeouts.
With no timeouts.
With a freshman QB and a young team.
Sophomore QB. And
Bryce Young, this is his first year.
This is second year.
Well, I'm saying starting, basically.
Yeah.
So he's a red shirt. Yeah. Well, he's not a red shirt, but he's a freshman QB. So you got QBs. It took AJ McCarron type stuff to do a 2-minute drill. He basically did a 90-minute drill on them.
No,
a 90-second drill.
Look, actually, he left 24 seconds on the clock.
Keep one thing in mind also. They were one-dimensional by that time because prior to that, Ryan Robinson had gotten hurt. The other running back that they had in there did not possess the power to break through the line.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked of him too. Sanders, he was kind of tiptoeing there for a minute, but I'm pretty sure the coaches told him, "Look, you hold on to that ball and go down rather than let him script the ball out of him because he is a little fumbleitis, I think." But I think he came in highly recruited. And matter of fact, I want to say he commented coming in that he would be the next Heisman Trophy running back here at Alabama. But I know
he had injuries, and then he had that car accident that kind of derailed a whole lot of that.
Correct.
He actually worked himself back because they didn't think that he was going to ever play football again.
I understand that.
I think he hadn't played a lot either. It's a lot of injuries. He might be still a little scared. Being in being with the season we had, he's had the injuries, and then you get put in a game like this. He really hadn't had a lot of playing time.
So all the pressure has now been put on him.
Right, and it's not the best time to have the pressure put on you. The Iron Bowl and trying to keep your playoff hope alive.
I put it like this: the pressure that was put on just a holder for the kicker, and that was the Bears' great grandson. Couldn't handle it.
Yep.
Did not handle it.
And they didn't put him back there no more either.
You muffed that, and then you can't even make the pass.
They didn't put him back out there.
To get first down.
He didn't hold it no more after that.
Nope. They took him out.
Not for the extra point.
Because Bryce Young, he even messed up one of the snaps.
Yeah, he did.
But the thing about it, that's like I said, that's a lot of pressure. They sent the house in Bryce Young every time coming out the right-hand side.
You got another choice.
So in the second half, when they did start running the ball, they started running to the left-hand side. As they were blitzing on the right-hand side, they had nothing on the left-hand side, and they was getting chunks of yards. So I would hope that if they try to do that stuff at Georgia this week, that he'll make that decision to do that quicker.
Well, I think also they did put who was it, Evans back in at right guard because
yeah,
and I think he did a much better job. Probably what he should have been doing and what was expected out of him. But actually,
that was real weird to me how he did much better there. It's like he did better when they took him.
Well, I think he lost his position. Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay. But and the guy that took his position, I think, was shown that he was a little nervous too. So that's where the sacks was coming in at.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been weak on that side all year. That's where all the pressure's been coming. If you look at the A&M game, that's where all the pressure was coming. when you look at the Arkansas game, when they brought pressure, that's where it was coming from. And let's be honest, Arkansas only rushed 3 a lot of the time. So Auburn made the decision that they weren't going to rush 3. They was going to rush 5 or 6 all the time. So technically, if he had had a little time to throw the ball, we could have lit him up. But he didn't have time to throw the ball.
Not none at all. And Georgia, I know Georgia watched that. Like I said, Georgia been hungry for us since 2008, and I know they watched that Auburn game like hawks.
But Jimbo Fisher gave him the recipe to try to beat Nick Saban at this game, and I still say Nick Saban got a plan that even if you
think you're right.
if you blitz us from the right, we're gonna go up the middle, and we're gonna go to the left. And I mean,
I don't think going up the middle is going to be what they want to do. Going up the middle, especially with the running back situation they got, I don't think that that's what they want to do. But going to that left, the strong side of Alabama's offensive line, that's where they want to go. And I think that if they start off going to the left and they get something going, they need to stay that way until they prove that they can stop it. And by that way, they're probably going to shift everything to the left. Then you start going to the right. I don't foresee them going up the middle. And that was, I think, the biggest problem with our running game anyway is they keep trying to test the middle early in the game, and they get no rush, no push. And then he gets to the point where he wants to abandon. Like I said, that first half, they ran the ball a total of 8 times. 3 of those times were times when you knew they were going to run, and where did they run? Straight up the middle. It was a 3rd and 1. A 3rd and 2.
Missed 2 of them. We missed 2, 3 and 1s. That's up the middle. I mean,
right up the middle. Why would you do that when you see them? They tight in the middle. They goal line standing instead of kicking it out and going to the left where you strong at. You try to go straight between the tackles, and
you're right.
You didn't get it, so now I'm gonna get away from the run.
Let me change.
Bryce Young is getting sacked. He's getting dirty because they keep putting him on the ground. So you got to do a little something. If I was a quarterback, I'd be like, "Hey, we need to call some running plays, man. I'm tired of getting hit."
They're gonna have to do something because Georgia watched that, and anybody that didn't, regardless of what their game plan is, or before Saturday, or was before this last Saturday, it's gonna be they watched their game, and as much as he was on the ground, that with Auburn, with that Georgia defense, they're gonna eat that up. It's just like I said, people, they don't care nothing about us being young.
Alabama got a defense, y'all. I keep telling you, Alabama got a defense that's gonna do just as good, I believe.
I think, yes.
That's what kept us in that game.
That nobody don't want to admit to that because of the points and the amount that we won by. But the defense, if you look at the secondary, especially the last 2 or 3 games, they haven't been giving up that wide open pass play that they had been doing all season long.
Yeah,
season long, they've been giving up busted coverages.
They corrected
that. Auburn game, that touchdown that was thrown, that was because he overran the play. He actually had him stopped. He had him stopped for it would have been a 4th down.
Mm-hmm.
He had him stopped, and he missed the tackle, and that allowed him to run in for the touchdown.
You're right.
So, like I said, defense was right on as far as everything goes. Like Kai said, it was a defensive battle, which is what you come to expect from the Alabama-Auburn game anyway, and it always comes down to some of the last plays. It was an exciting game. I'm going to go ahead and tell you I was so stressed out that my nose started bleeding.
What?
Your nose bleeding, Veronica pulling her hair out, changing her wig up, she said. Kai Porter wheelchair flipped over.
Wait a minute now. I ain't got no wheelchair.
Well, look, let me change the subject for a minute. Let me change the subject for 1 minute. Brian Kelly coming to LSU. I think the SEC is now making this a superpower conference. You got Texas and Oklahoma coming. Now you got LSU getting you getting a hell of a coach coming to LSU now.
Yep.
So you got the West gonna consist of Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU, Arkansas, Texas, or Oklahoma. One of the two coming to the West. Either way, we talking about a superpower conference, just the West alone. Not to mention the East, Georgia,
But let me ask you something,
Florida.
Darren. How long do y'all think that's going to be beneficial to the SEC to keep on adding all these?
Wow.
Because I mean,
think
to me, I feel like it could be beneficial to a degree, but I feel like if they continue to do that, it's going to change the NCAA in general. They also going to make a change because if they keep doing that, who's going to be left? Who's going to be left for the other? Next, they're going to be finding a reason to accept somebody out of the Big Ten.
The benefit
I feel like they're hoping that the SEC cancel the SEC out.
Because that's what's going to happen in the SEC. Like they can't even see that they're going to cancel. They're going to cancel each other out. Yeah, but I think they feel like it's going to be more. I think they feel like it's going to be more opportunity for them to, win titles. But I just don't. I don't see that after so long. I don't see that. But we sitting there looking like a seesaw, and we on the ground because we will have 16 teams.
Yeah.
And they all aren't true SEC. Southeastern Conference, they are all not true SEC.
I think Vanderbilt should go independent. They haven't been competitive for a long time. Actually, they should probably jump ship and go to Sun Belt or something like that. Because in other words, every year you're looking at Vanderbilt as your homecoming team. Hey, let's put Vanderbilt down as our homecoming team. Kentucky came along. They got a good coach. South Carolina, they're stepping up. They got a good coach. So just looking at the conference itself, I'm seeing a lot of changes for it's gonna be like you say, we beating up on each other. Consistently beating up on each other. But I think the competition is good. That's just like I was telling the guy when you're the only big bad wolf in the conference, and you don't have no competition, you can kind of, dictate what you're gonna do, how you're gonna do it, when you're gonna do it. Like
stop talking about Clemson.
But I think that all still centers on Alabama being a powerhouse. Like we said, we said a couple of weeks ago, it all started with that 2011 season, Alabama, LSU, and then Alabama wins the title, in that January. Yeah. But my thing is, like Mike said, it's going to cancel the SEC out because you got all these powerhouses playing all these games, beating up on each other. One way you could think of it, we got a better chance to get to the playoffs and win a title. The other way you could think of it, those boys going to be beat up. So to me, that's opening the door to the other conference.
But and here's the other thing too, because this something that really and truly they don't want to happen, but it could happen. If let's say Alabama goes to the SEC championship game and win, as they are ranked number 4 right now, they beat Georgia, who's number 1. They will probably move back to number 2, and Georgia will probably move to number 3.
I want to correct you, Mike. I think they've moved Alabama up to 3 this week. The college playoff.
Yeah, we third. Last time I saw the coach. We third.
They moved
it's third from the playoff committee, I think.
We third now. Okay. Well, if we win against Georgia, Georgia will skip to number 3. We'll move to probably number 2, but they ain't gonna want to hear us number 1. And of course, they're gonna leave Cincinnati right there at number 4, unless they haul off and lose.
Well, now
if that happens,
okay, go ahead.
The possibility of Alabama and Georgia playing in the next championship game is going to be real. It's going to happen. It'll happen because 1 and 4 are going to play each other, and 2 and I take it back. Somehow or another, 2 and
2 and
Yeah,
3
Harbaugh
and 1.
want to see Bama.
No,
Harbaugh want to see
you right,
Bama.
Mike. You right, Mike. It'll be one or
If
two.
it stays like, if whatever happens and it stays like it is now, if for some reason we stay at 3, Michigan wants to see Bama.
They do. He got revenge on his mind.
Because he was cocky with the little win over Ohio State. And my thing with this is this: it's just like with Georgia. If Georgia does beat us, y'all know I'm gonna be spitting mad. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like a LSU. How long do you think? How long can a win streak go? We got a 6-game win streak on. So my hope is if we don't win, that we play it close. And then I would like Alabama to be the first team to make the two loss team to the thing, win or lose. Because they've been talking about expanding. They've been talking about it was a possibility that Auburn could have done it either last year or year before. And they would pretty much start out with a good season. So if we play them close enough or tight enough, if Cincinnati don't lose, I don't see them taking them down. But if we play them close enough, who knows? But my hope is that we win because then they drop, say to probably two or three. But they probably drop to 3. Michigan 1, Bama 2. But I just think Harbaugh wants to see Bama so bad that he can just snip. And just like Georgia want to see us Saturday.
Well, Michigan got to play who this coming week? Do they play a big yeah, you're right, Iowa. So
yeah, they're gonna steamroll in.
It's open. It'll be open, wide open. Anything can happen this coming weekend.
And Oklahoma State sitting there and thinking everybody's saying we under the radar. Nobody's talking about us. But they sitting there number 5 waiting for something to happen.
Waiting on something to happen. You're absolutely right. Oklahoma State and Notre Dame.
Yeah. Go from 11-1. And it doesn't matter who's 5 and 6 when their committee decide to sit down for their final selection.
So I think more than likely they're gonna oust Cincinnati and put Notre Dame in there. Because Notre Dame got that special rule.
Well,
like I say, especially if we lose, my thing is, what if we do lose and Cincinnati wins? So who's going to get that spot? Is it going to do Oklahoma State or are they going to favor Notre Dame? What y'all think? They both 11-1. Only difference is where they rank 5
They'll
6.
probably give it to Notre Dame just because Notre Dame. No, it's an unwritten rule that Notre Dame, if they get a certain number of wins, they can get in the playoff.
Well, they would do exactly.
But I'm saying, have they done that before though? Like you say, it's an unwritten rule. So can we go by actions? Like, have they done that before? Has Notre Dame been to the playoff?
Yeah, they were there last year.
How much? Once?
They were there last year.
Yeah, they've been they've been several years.
Didn't Bama beat them last year?
We beat them so bad that they didn't want to come out the second half.
I know we beat them right before we became the playoffs. But I'm talking about the college football playoffs, not the BCS.
I'm talking about.
I don't know.
They
I'm
were
talking
there.
about the college football playoffs. I know they may have went once to the CFP.
No, they've been I think like 3 times. And each time they'll want to lose to, like, most times they'll lose to them.
Let me see. Who did they play last year?
Yeah, I got to say that because I don't know. Maybe twice. I think it was
either 2 or 3 times.
They 16 and 20. They've been there twice. They've been there twice. 18 and 20. It says 2018, 2020.
Yeah, because we beat them last year.
Okay. I was trying to see, because I'm just wondering, to me, I understand what Notre Dame, but I really honestly think it should go to Ohio State, to be honest. I mean, not Ohio State, but Oklahoma State. Because what is Notre Dame still a part of the ACC for? Was that supposed to be just for COVID, the year for COVID, or was that still there?
The year for COVID. Any other time.
Yeah, we just beat.
So they back independent. They back.
We beat Notre Dame last year. I thought we beat them last year, 2021.
They probably did. It said 2020, like 2018, 2020. They made
we beat them last year.
31-14.
So we beat them before we play Ohio State.
Right.
Who was not, to me, should not have been in the national championship game. But no, you're right. They shouldn't have been in there, but they finagled a way to put them in there, and we saw the results of it. So that answered any question of whether or not they should or should not been in the championship.
And they sitting at number 7 right now. So I don't care what kind of chaos happens. Like if people were saying, "Oh, could a 2-loss Bama get there?" A 2-loss Bama should drop no lower than number 6 if you was thinking logically. So since the last one will be next week,
Well, they predicting
My
that
thing is, Bama would be a 2-loss before Ohio State would be a 2-loss team to get playoffs. Should it be?
they already predicting Alabama be playing Baylor in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, because they already predicting that Georgia will win. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping they won't, because a lot of people say, they compare and they look at the score differences, which they really doesn't never make a difference to me. And it does make a difference on the field. They look at the score differences and they talk about how Georgia dominated everybody. But if you look at that Tennessee game, and anybody can learn from that. We won by 20,
Exactly.
they won by 24. My thing is not even just looking at the score, look at the way Tennessee played them. If we can get some type of something out of that and stick with them to the end and make it a toss-up game, then that's who knows.
Bama gonna come out on top.
You know, the last time we played, that quarterback, he could not throw the ball on Alabama because he's too short.
But
And
he's
every
6'3",
time he got
the
ready
dude
to throw
that's
the
playing
ball,
now.
we jumped up and we wound up batting down a lot of his passes.
But
So
Stetson not playing though.
They got Daniels starting
Stetson
at
Bennett is
quarterback.
not playing. Daniels is playing. Daniels is 6'3", 210. I
okay.
checked him out. Because I'm
Well,
looking
that's
like,
a whole
okay,
different thing then.
because Stetson is a senior, and that's what they were saying. Like, how does he feel about being a senior? And I think he had an injury or something. But Daniels is the quarterback, and like you said, Mike, I think he only like 5'10", 5'11", but Daniels is like 6'3", and I think that's been a part of their success too. Him being the starting quarterback, because Stetson would have been the starting quarterback had he not been injured.
I say
And
Bama.
Kirby, I don't trust Kirby. Who knows how Stetson doing? I don't put it past him to pull a switcheroo or whatever.
I say Bama still match 5-star to 5-star against Georgia on the offensive line and the defensive line both ways. Cornerbacks, defensive backs. It's gonna be a good game.
Yes, it is.
And I keep
I'm just
saying,
concerned with our offensive line though. I feel like Brian was on his butt too much, and I feel like our running back wasn't getting enough.
No,
I don't know. He wasn't. It wasn't doing enough to give him the opportunity. It's kind of like when we were talking about when Trent went to the Cleveland Browns. Trent, one of the best quarterbacks. Running backs the SEC has had, and to go into the NFL. But being with the Browns, the O line couldn't open up nothing for him. And it seemed like to me, like I said, I criticize Robinson, but it ain't just a critique of him. It's the O line. What can you do if you don't have a straight O line? What can you do?
that's true.
You can't do nothing.
But I agree with you to a degree, but I also say that most time when he runs to the left, he break out large chunks of yardage. So why not run more to the left? I understand that you want to go between tackles sometimes, but
It
when
becomes
it's obvious times that they think that you can run between
I
tackles.
say he at least getting like 5 or 6 yards, and that could be beneficial for us for time management.
Yes.
And it seems like when he catches a lot of the balls, he does much better. So I don't know why they keep just with that 1 yard. They kept trying to go up the middle. He against a good defense, he cannot get nothing. And that's not saying, like I said, all on him. That's the offensive line.
That's him not getting a push. They actually catch
That's
him
what I'm
in the
saying.
backfield.
And then when he did get a push the one time, he didn't get it. They didn't. One push they gave him better push than the first time. Still didn't get it. Unlike it could have just been a quick sweep out to the left, and we would have got that 1 yard.
That's my whole entire gripe about the play calling from O'Brien, because I feel like, are you looking at the same game and once again we had this conversation last week about being armchair quarterbacks or armchair coaches, but dang, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Is he looking at what we're seeing? Because to me, Mike, when they tried that 1 yard, that 3-and-1 that first time it didn't work. Why go for that again? They got your number on it.
actually, when they lined up for that one, first of all, I said y'all need to hurry up if y'all gonna do it, but they call a timeout because they had 12 men on the field. Okay, once they call that timeout, okay, we gonna have to call a whole nother play. They stayed in the same play.
And then if they had hurried up with them 12 men on the field, that would have been a first down without even having to try to get it.
Absolutely. Because Nick was telling them, hurry up and hurry up and hike it. And before they can do it,
he called it timeout.
Timeout.
And then they fired their OC, y'all. They fired their OC.
Who?
That for overtime got their OC fired.
Auburn? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm surprised Mason gonna stay
Well, I ain't gonna
stay
say
the
that
defense coordinator.
full OT got him fired, but y'all know what I'm saying. Like after that game, he was fired.
Yeah.
Well,
If you don't show up
But
off
that head coach had to
don't
fire
show
him
up
because he's trying to keep his job.
that gives life to the pass, gives life to the run, gives life to the wide receivers. If that O line ain't tight, and I mean 100% tight, you ain't gonna have no run game. You ain't gonna have no pass game. Receivers
I was
gonna be
like,
hard
wow.
to get
After
ball.
one season, he
All
out
that
of there.
depends on that O line holding off a defense so that quarterback can see the field, so that quarterback can see the wide receiver, so that quarterback can pass the ball off, because that O line created a hole that the running back can run through.
Yeah, and see the
But
thing
the other
about
thing
Auburn
about
is
that also too, Sean, is that the wide receivers, when the ball comes to them, they got to hold on to it.
Yeah,
they show still got too many drops. They show still got too many drops.
Yes, they had too many
If
drops.
it hit you in the hands, you supposed to catch it.
You supposed to catch that ball. You supposed to bring that ball in.
I don't know if they too anxious. I don't know what it is. But once it hits, sometimes you can just see it just pop right out of their hand. Just pop out.
Especially them tight ends.
That's why I said when Slade Bolden caught that ball at the to get the 7-point touchdown, I was so surprised. That to me, that felt like a winning touchdown, even though I know we hadn't won yet. That felt like a game-winning touchdown because you too many times this season they've dropped.
Yep. Especially the other one. What his name is?
Billington.
Bill, and he had a lot of potential last year. He showed so much potential last year.
Yes, he did.
And he had like he's scared to get hit. Because that's what having that stuff is. It sound like he hear footsteps and he let the ball go. The brace for a hit.
They put him at wide receiver in Jameson's spot Saturday, and looked like he didn't even want it.
Yeah.
And you know what? A lot of like Bryce wasn't getting a lot of them out because he was on his back a lot, but some of them he was getting out. And that to me, I felt a little confident about it because Williams was out. After he was out,
that gives me a little bit more confidence too, because if we were able to move the ball with the wide receivers that we had, and Williams was not there. Williams is always the home run hitter. He's the speed back that's gonna go down the field. They tried to use Mechie to do that. Mechie is not as fast as they would like for him to be. Unfortunately, he got great hands. He catch a lot of passes, but he's that
when it comes to getting the ball down there, yeah,
he's not gonna take it down the field on anybody. So you had to have Williams to kind of spread out that defense a little bit, which is why the one who was on Mechie, I can't think his name, Auburn, their best DB, he was spending time between the both of them. So once Williams went out, he completely went to Mechie, and that was it. So that's why all the other wide receivers are supposed to have stepped up. Yep. They're supposed to been like, okay, well, look, we gonna catch the ball. Mechie, you know what I'm saying? He gonna draw their best DB. So all we gotta do is win in here. And a lot of them kind of was lackluster to me in running their routes. Like they didn't run crisp routes or nothing like that. I halfway wish that Derek Judy was still there to show them jokers how to run a route.
Yeah. My thing is, I think some of them too, they got so comfortable last year. That's why I say play the young boys. But to be honest, this season been such a tight season with these games. You almost can't play the ones who aren't first string. You got to keep first string out there. This has been a season where first string needs to be out there just during their all game. Yeah. And I'm like, because I always say play the young ones, play the young ones, play the young ones.
I think that's what Nick is so irritated with the amount of work that they're putting in.
They're tired. They get tired by the end of the game. They be absolutely tired. They be It's like you got that first string, be tired.
Who's not used to that, because the younger players are used to being on the sideline, but now they got to get out there on that field.
Yeah, because you remember, like I was saying last week, we used to have our backups were starters. Yeah. So even though we didn't see some of them a lot of times till it was cleanup time, you knew what they could do because they could circulate. You know what I'm saying? They could get one in there. If you got two receivers out there, you can get one that's out there that might have been a young guy with a Smitty, or get one of them out there with Judy. But like now, it's like it's got to be starters.
Mm-hmm.
And I
The
feel
thing
like
is,
they
they
truly
kind of
get
feel
tired.
like, to me, they feel like they are because they play for Alabama. They automatically expecting that they're gonna be great, and they're not putting in the work, and they don't actually have the people that jumping. Teams of the past, they held each other accountable in the aspect of
Yes,
if
they
you're
did.
going to if you
Yes,
mess up
they
a
did.
play, they jump in your face like, boy, you know what you're supposed to be doing, where you supposed to be at, and they held each other accountable, which helped the coaches coach better. So
Yeah.
they're not doing that this year. It's like kind of like so I'm doing the best I can do, coach, or whatever. You only got two people on defense that constantly show up each game. That's Williams and that's Toa and
Anderson.
and, yeah.
That's our quarterback of the defense, and that just really got established. Because even though he's been great at his job the whole season, but he just really became the quarterback of that defense.
Yeah.
It's like we've been having some great defensive guys out there that like Mike said, you hold each other accountable. It's kind of like when you had what's that, Anderson and that group out there. It was like any one of them could have been the quarterback of the defense any given day.
We had.
But right now we got one.
We had
One or two.
multiple second string upperclassmen.
Mm-hmm.
And
So I attribute it to us being young. Yeah, we young now.
This year, this is a very young team. You got a handful of seniors. You got a handful of juniors, and that team is wrapped around juniors and sophomores and freshmen, and that's through the whole. That's on either side.
And
of
I
the
think
ball.
it's like Mike said, they have that mentality that's Alabama, but I don't really think it's in an arrogant kind of way. I think it's because when you look at the teams and you watched over the season, some could be relaxed like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they probably was like third or fourth string. And then they made it a little time. These guys now they're young. You got to be you out there or you next man up and you gonna be the next man. And so that's why like we saying they look like they kind of like don't know what to do or don't want it. Don't want the position because it's like, oh, it's on me. Because it was like they could slowly circulate in because our backups were starters and then they were third string. But now it's like our starters are starters. Our second string should be starters.
You can see it by the way they were out of position on certain plays. And you be like, dang, where were you at? What were you doing? What was they did that and especially the secondary especially did that a lot in the first half of the season. That's why they kept giving up the wide open bombs down the middle of the field. Once again, I feel like they have tightened that up in the last 2 or 3 games, but on the other part of that, I feel like the rest of the defensive line, and honestly, so other folks stepped up in that Auburn game that you haven't been hearing their names called all season, and you was hearing their names being called.
Mm-hmm.
So
Brooks, McKinstry, Brooks.
Get it in, Daryl. Get it in.
Hey, I'm just telling them where the truth at, Kool-Aid, McKinstry, and Brooks. Come on, y'all. Them young guys, they gonna step up. Everybody coming.
But and sometimes it take that. It's like when you've been on top like that, just like with every championship we got, we have 6, but they average out to once every year. So we was like 9, then 11, 12. Okay, you're gonna have to skip a year or two, and we don't want to hear because I hate the trash talk. Like I put the post up, don't get in my inbox talking that crap. Come on the post and talk it, and then talk it when we win them championships. Talk it when we
and they got a sorry team. I got a friend right now that is a fan of. He's a Tennessee fan, and so every time Alabama lose, he wanted to go to talking. And I'm like, what was Tennessee record again?
And when was the last time they beat the Alabama? That's the biggest question.
17 seasons, ain't it?
That's what I'm saying. But he don't care about anybody else losing as long as Tennessee go out and have a decent showing against Alabama. And Williams said, man, shoot, man, we scored this many points on Alabama.
But at the same time, Mike, is that when you tell them, well, what should that tell you though? Alabama is the standard. No matter how much you want to dog and bash, If you got to talk about how well you did against Alabama, win or lose, and then you got to become the mascot for the next team up, that should tell you that that's the standard. You mad for a reason, or that makes you feel some type of way for a reason. That gives you want to beat your chest for a reason. If Georgia beating us and the Auburn fans, the Tennessee fans beating their chest, it's like they delusional. Like you don't understand what that is telling you. Like Auburn fans don't even understand what 6-5 mean. That mean, are you gonna make it to a bowl game? Well, you going to because you're 6-5, but you were one shot from not making the bowl game. But you worried about what Georgia gonna do to Alabama. It like, do you not have what? And then it's just like they saying, what we gonna get up for Auburn, what we gonna get up for Georgia. Okay, are we not entitled to have that off season? Like I said, 2012, we didn't win 13, 14, but we came back 15, then win 16, came back 17. We gotta have off time. Sometimes our group of boys gotta have a time to be young. And I just think this might be that year that we're gonna be young. We might not go. But that ain't the Nick. So you know how Nick Saban gonna do. Within 2 to 3 years, Alabama is looking for that championship again. 9 times out of 10 in the playoff in that championship game.
I agree with you, and I think that what I'm saying. And generally, if we don't win one year, the next year
We're gonna be back in the next year.
That drives him that next 2 to 3 years. What is the longest? Like 11, 12, 13, 14. It's about 2. You hit that 3rd year, it's about time. And I tell Georgia, now y'all ain't got the coach, y'all ain't got coach. Oh, y'all got Kirby, and he real competitive. I know that. And he win a national title. They're gonna probably give him a contract for another 10, 20 years. But don't let the sun set on that bottom on that bulldog like it did LSU.
I'm just saying.
Because you do a win. You do a win.
The matter is, if Kirby was to haul off and lose to Alabama again, do y'all think that they might be like Kirby?
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna stick with him as long as they stuck with Rick.
But
because you remember he kept losing, but it was like, okay, we got 10 win season. They kept on keeping, and then people were upset. This man had a 10 win season, but he ain't going nowhere though.
Exactly.
So if Kirby keep going and don't bring it home, eventually I don't know if they'll stick with him as long as they did with Mark Richt.
Well, Kirby, I tell you what, he come on home.
Mike, I think he at home. Y'all know Kirby was born in Montgomery and moved to Georgia. That his family moved to Georgia.
Yeah,
and then he played for Georgia.
He went to school at Georgia, and that's the reason why he wanted to take that job.
Mm-hmm. But so I really think that's home for him.
He was the coach of parent at Alabama.
Yeah, but I think he want to be. I think he feel like that's home. By the way by the way the the little flickery of his mouth and stuff, the way he the little stuff he said, that might have just been a coach saying the thing, but I just feel like he feel like Georgia's his home. Being at Georgia is his home.
I feel you, but if they let him go.
But yeah, like you said, now if they let him go, that's a different story. Because Kirby coached a lot of places, and they let him go. That's a different story.
Yeah, you let him go. Come on back.
I want and bring Scott with you, because that's one other thing. The strength training coach and focus. Yes. Being focused.
I think that's what Alabama truthfully needs, especially this year, because a part of it, I think that our defense is so worn out by the time the second half get here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're not as dominant in the second half. They usually get stronger as the game go on because they are so well conditioned. I don't think they're as well conditioned as they have been in previous years.
Mm-hmm. We seen it right before our eyes. Georgia is what 2011, 2012 Bama was, but me saying that, I feel like if you could take a 2012 or 13, even 13, when we didn't win the championship, Bama, and play this Georgia, I wouldn't be worried about Saturday. Period. So what they don't understand is that we playing Georgia. Georgia has been the most dominant team through the NCAA this season, but Bama has stepped down a notch. So you take a Bama as Bama normally is and play them against this Georgia team. I have a lot more confidence than I do right now. I feel like I got a funny feeling we're gonna win. Even though I've been watching Georgia, I got this feeling. I keep going back to if they paying attention. I'm not no coach. The coach is paying attention like we hope they do. But like Mike said, sometimes it's like, what do you see? But they pay attention, and Saban pay attention, and we know he paying attention. But the OC and DC pay attention. and they played, watch the way they played Tennessee, watch the way they've been playing. I feel like we got a good chance to win. But had it been Bama 17, Bama 19, I would have no doubt we would win Saturday. So while they talking about how dominant Georgia is, I just feel like Georgia is dominant and we're not as dominant.
I really truly think that you're right. And here's the thing that I keep wondering is that they say play half speed, and then in Georgia they say, all right, take the blinders off, go full speed. And we see a completely different Alabama team. It's gonna be like, hey, what y'all been at for the last month of the season?
And then I know that Auburn game took a lot out of them, but still, I feel like they will play up like everybody else play up to us. Georgia's still gonna play up Saturday because it's Alabama. But if we could play up above when you say it's Saturday, because like I said, Auburn wasn't no mess up team. They just needed some things that needed to be corrected. If we could play up too, then I feel like we got a good chance. That's why I'm like not really like okay. I feel like these other games I've been stressing about even leading up to Saturday. This one I'm like I don't know if I feel like we're not gonna. I don't think I feel like we're not gonna. I just feel like we got a good chance of winning. If they looked at the way I think the key game for us to with Georgia is watching Georgia all together, but that Tennessee game. Because look at Tennessee and look at the way they played them in that first half. But it was just something about that second half Georgia pulled away from them. But see, we pulled away from them in the second half as well. So that way it goes back to what Darren said. We match up better probably with anybody.
Tennessee was part of the best defense and offense that Georgia played this year.
Yeah, and so that's why to me it goes back to what Darren was saying. We match up then.
Because they played more cupcakes.
And if we matching up all right, they just got to execute.
Just got to execute. That's the question. Can they execute? And like Mike said earlier, I think we corrected that open man down the middle, or you know, the DBs and got back. And what it took, Mike, was putting Josh Jobe on the bench and bringing some Hillum, some McKinstry, and what the other boy named Davis. He got a two last names. Those guys are playing good now. Josh Jobe was getting beat, but from my understanding, he was hurt. So that's just like they say the Evans kid. They say he's hurt, or one of them was hurt. Hey, you got to move out the way, man. If you can't perform your job, let the next man up. Go ahead and do what he got to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Alabama matched man for man on everybody that Georgia got. We got a, you know, and we got a player on defense that got hurt the very first game. He was part of the two-headed monster that we really relied on. I can't even think of his name right now.
I remember. Was it the first? Like the first game, second game he got hurt.
First game, I think it was, and he was out for the season, but he was part of the two-headed monster that's supposed to have been with Will Anderson. And so, you know, injuries taking its place. The transfer. I'm gonna tell you what I don't like. I don't really like this transfer portal. If you transfer from another league, then I'm okay with it. But going from a team that's in the SEC to another team in the SEC, I don't like that.
Me either. Cause you know that guy when Kirby first left there, Nick wouldn't let that guy go, and he went on and let him go. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, no.
I think he was a defensive guy.
Yeah, he was defensive. He wasn't no big difference, but I mean, he missed out on a ring. In other words, that's all that was. He just missed out on another ring from Alabama. But I just think if you enter the transfer portal, you cannot transfer within the same conference that you're already in. I'm sorry. And if you do transfer, you must sit out that year. Because right now, let's take a guy that played for Alabama and want to go to Georgia. He know all the signs. He know the play formations. I mean, that shouldn't be that ain't fair. I would like to see Alabama recruit Rattler out of Oklahoma. I'd like to see him come to Alabama. I'd like to see that five-star running back that decommitted from Texas that want to come to Alabama.
He coming.
and I like to see. There's one other guy. I can't think of his name, but these now
He coming. That guy from Texas, he coming. But
Rattler.
they gonna have to put some weight on him because he kind of light.
Yeah, Rattler now. He's coming from the Big 12, but he'd be a part of the SEC. But he's doing it before the thing. Or I would say because Bama. Let's be realistic. If Bryce Young go down, do we have another quarterback?
You know what? That third string quarterback, and this is also something that I'm wondering if he gonna get a chance to get in there. He's supposed to be, if not as he's supposed to be faster, if not as fast as Williams. That third string quarterback.
Oh, that third string, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you put him in, what do that mean? He's gonna do what? Run. So what do? You bring your defense up, stack the line, take away the run. Now can he? Now
they said that he also.
That's what I want to know.
I think he can. I think he's a good passer. I don't know if he's a Bryce, but I think he's a good passer.
Well, the question
is, he's been working on that passing thing too. Now, his thing, if you put him in and use him kind of like New Orleans used that quarterback they got. I can't think of his name. You know, the tall white guy they got that's bathroom.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I can't.
Him in, and he most times always get a first down, break and run, and he's supposed to be pretty fast too, but he can throw well enough.
Yeah.
So, all we need is somebody who can throw well enough to get the ball to Messi or Williams, and Lord knows, hope them tight ends catch the ball if he throw it to them. So, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole other ring.
Somebody said, Lord knows.
That's a whole.
He right though.
The Georgia is not expecting. You know what I'm saying? That's not to the point where they're expecting Bryce Young to start running.
Yeah. But you know what, Mike? That could be like I was saying earlier. Kirby like to get a little tricky too, and that quarterback that was expecting to be the quarterback, he's a senior now. Who knows? We might throw him in there. We need to have us some tricks too, because we didn't have a few tricks thrown on us. We need to have us some tricks available too.
Woo, what you talking about? Trick and throw it on that defense.
Lord.
Well,
that sucker got that touchdown. That Arkansas boy, that made me about madder than the kick six with Auburn did that year.
I still say he was out of bounds, but I ain't gonna get him.
Man, I was so mad I ain't know what to do. There's been a season here, y'all, and I'm talking about people like who ain't even in maybe the top 10, Texas A&M. These ain't been the West been doing better in Arkansas. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it takes time to step.
They make it seem, and because of the way that we beat, but like A&M, sure enough, they wasn't ranked, but A&M really truly should have been. But based on who they had on their team, they had basically their whole entire team back as seniors. They should have been a whole lot better than they were this year. Arkansas, they started off with the season great. Once again, I think they made the problem. The same thing with Tennessee is they don't have the depth to carry them all the way through games. So they wound up giving out toward the end of games.
All of them is in the top 25 though. I mean, I don't know what Tennessee is, but I know A&M is like with 25. So they right in Kentucky 23. Like Darryl was saying, Kentucky did good. They improved. Arkansas 22. They right behind Clemson 20. Clemson usually up there at the top.
Yeah.
They didn't get that quarterback didn't show up that they thought they was going to have.
No, he ain't got a quarterback. The only way Clemson is so great, they always gonna have a pretty good defense. But the only way Clemson gonna be great is that they got an outstanding quarterback. The times that they beat Alabama, look at the quarterbacks that they had.
Yeah.
And the last time. And that quarterback they got, he didn't turn out the way they expected that he would. Mm-hmm. He didn't turn out to be like they thought he would.
Well, maybe
I don't know the reason, because I haven't watched him, but he didn't turn out to be.
He looked good last year, going in games after Lawrence. But Lawrence had already put the game away, so it was like you playing against junior players
But
anyway.
also now, it don't do you no good to put a quarterback in and just let him hand off the ball.
Mm-mm.
You got to see what he can do passing. Like Tyson, they put Tyson in, I think he's on the thrown like 5 passes this year.
As I
You know what I'm
say,
saying?
do
He's the
Alabama have
backup.
anybody behind Bryce Young?
That's Tyson.
That's Tyson. But like you said, he's only thrown so many, and they said now at first they said that it was close. The competition was close. I don't know how true it was, but they did say it was close. But if you're not in these games, in these on-site games enough, when you get to this time of the year, you still fresh. You still basically a newbie. You don't have the experience.
They want to say that Tyson was running neck and neck with Talia Tagovailoa because they went to high school competing against each other. But when Bryce Young came in, he pushed both of them back. So that's how that goes.
And you see what he doing.
Talia, and I got this from some of the players. That Talia's biggest problem was when they was running the RPO. They expect for him to hand that ball off, and he wanted to throw it every time. Or he'll check off at the line. It's like he'll check off at the line more times than they wanted to do it, and they said Nick didn't care for that.
All right, and you know what? He probably knew he did because they say he really wanted to go to LSU anyway. And when things changed, he left. He didn't go to LSU, but when it was time in the league, he had to go where he could go, and he trusted Loxley, so he liked him. But they say he really didn't want to come here anyway. He wanted to go to LSU. So some of the stuff he did, you never know. When you're not happy somewhere, and they are still kids, he probably knew that. I'm sure he knew Saban wasn't happy with it, and he probably felt like a little bit of him felt like he could change his mind, but a little of him felt like, well, if I'm not happy, they're not happy. My parents will eventually let me do what I want to do because they say they parents strong in their decision making.
Oh yeah, very strong.
Hey y'all, it's been a great night. I'm a little tired today. We'll take up on Thursday on conversation and what's going on in the world. We had school shootings, we had trials. We'll talk about a whole lot of other stuff.
Oh yeah.
On Thursday. But I'm a little tired tonight. I'm sorry. I and y'all like 3 or 4 times.
It is.
Get you some rest. Get you some rest.
Yeah.
You know what? It's the end of November, and we're going into that busy time of the year of Christmas. So, you know what I'm saying? It's that time where everybody running around like chickens with their head cut off trying to get them gifts and everything for Christmas. So I really want everybody to be safe when they're going out. Of course, yesterday was Cyber Monday, so but I don't think that's stopping anything. Still a whole bunch of sales. I keep getting emails or things from Walmart and Target every day.
I ain't shopping.
And y'all, to anybody, if y'all know anybody, like this is the time of year where, like my mom passed in 14, my sister passed in 19. Sometimes this holiday can get depressing. So it's that seasonal affective disorder. So as well as being safe, it was related to COVID. Like my granddad used to say, just smile at somebody. It don't hurt nobody to do a smile because you never know who be going through what. And I say that saying that I'm that type of person that I don't care nothing about smiling at nobody for real. Cause like when I'm zoned in, I'm doing what I gotta do. And that's not that I mean nothing. My mom don't say I'm mean. Used to say that, but my thing is, when you get it's like DeAndre made a post today, like you gotta self-evaluate sometimes. And then I remember when my great granddad used to say, a smile don't hurt nobody. Y'all, this time of year where it's Christmas, it's shopping, and we happy, but it's a lot of people that's depressed.
Yes, it is.
So just try to stay safe with these flu, COVID, and all that, and just try to, look out for people. Sometimes just reevaluate things and just, what I'm saying, just kind of like if it's family, if it's friends, if it's a stranger. That's one thing about Daryl. Like he said, he really open to people. People just like to talk to him. Sometimes it's just a smile. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
It makes some people feel better, especially like this time of year.
We're gonna talk about some Christmas ideas and Christmas recipes and different stuff like that. I'm not a big cooker, but I know some people can or do like to cook, and there are a lot of men that like to cook. I didn't know that.
I'm one of them.
I'm one of them.
Like one of them.
And a lot of them, they can cook, and I don't mind it.
We used to get together all the time.
I
Me
heard
and
you,
Keith
Veronica.
used to get
I
together
heard
and throw
that.
stuff on the grill all the time.
I heard Veronica say, and I don't mind it. Sneak that little in on there, huh? And I don't mind it. Okay. Hey, y'all.
Don't do nothing for me to sit up in the kitchen and just watch.
Hey, I'm going to end it tonight, y'all. Hey, great show. Talk to y'all. Been a long night. Couple nights, matter of fact. Once again, just continue to look over each other and be careful out here and continue to wash your hands, sanitize, and mask up. And hopefully we'll be looking forward to a new year of 0. I'm waiting to hear them numbers 0 at DCH.
Oh yeah.
All right, Carmelo, you can take me on out, man. We appreciate it. Y'all
All
have a
right.
great night,
Y'all
y'all.
have a good night.
Okay.
All right, you too.
Y'all have a
Be
good
careful.
night.